Hi Malone. It is Saturday, and I am in Lewis and Clark State Park. Yeah, which is in Missouri, actually. To answer your question, I did make it into Kansas, and that was, I kind of announced that a little bit in my last video, but I didn't answer any of your questions about Kansas because I hadn't yet watched your video. Let's see. I'm gonna ram. Question number one, I believe, was, what's Kansas like? Well, kind of like Missouri a little bit. There's a little bit less trees, and the hills aren't as bad, but it's basically the same. There's a lot more farming going on, which is cool. Instead of heading west, which I did the other day, yesterday, I headed north today. I made it up to Lewis and Clark Village. I was in Kansas all day until this last half hour when I came over to stay in this state park, which actually was pretty full of people, if you can see very much. A lot of people back there, which surprised me until I looked at my watch and realized it was Saturday. I guess Saturday night is a good night to camp. I don't know, I don't have a day job. So that's what's going on with that. You might be wondering, why is that gray rectangle floating next to Alvin's left eyeball? Here's why. It is a mirror. Nolan Carter. He has one of these, and they're pretty cool. And he told me I should get one. So I did. It's pretty nifty. I use it to check behind me if cars are coming. So I don't have to turn my head and unbalance my bike and swerve a little bit and not watch the road ahead of me, which, it's kind of an important thing, as I learned earlier today. I had a backup tire, and when I wrecked my rear tire, I used it. It was a Continental Gator Skin tire. Really nice tire, about 70 bucks. Had it on for about a day. Turned my head to look behind me, because I had to merge into traffic because there was a light up ahead. Ran over the remains of a coffee cup and just tore it straight to hell. Just destroyed it. So it was a good day of use, that one day. I managed to patch it with a dollar bill, which is an old trick you can use to patch a tire. You use it as a boot. I guess technically a felony if you happen to destroy the $1 bill. I've had mixed results. I destroyed one $1 bill a while back, and then this one is holding up pretty well. Or did. I made it up to a bike shop. I got a new bike. Or a new tire. Not a new bike. Got a new tire. This one apparently is guaranteed not to pop for a year. No flats for a year. Kind of cool. It's pretty cool. And it was cheaper than a gator skin. So, an armadillo is what it's called. I'll let you know how that goes. Probably within a year, if I get a flat. Anyway, on my way up here, I ran into some other cyclists, and that was cool. Just kind of wave at them, be like, yeah, you're awesome. Way to be a cyclist. That makes you pretty great. One of them was a tourist. Which the term touring is a long bike trip will be called a tour, a bike tour, and you'll be a bike tourist. Not necessarily to be confused with a tourist who show up and get on tour buses and take pictures. But yeah, so there's that. Here's how I met him: flying down the highway on the shoulder. He's coming up the highway from the opposite direction, also on the shoulder. And I can tell he's a tourist because he's got all these bags on his bike. He's packed just straight full. And he's waving at me, and I'm waving at him. And he's gesticulating, wildly, back in the direction I came. So I turn and look, and I'm like, what is it? What? There's not a traffic accident or anything back there. What's going on? And it turns out I had stopped shortly before to have a snack. And I took my gloves off, these gloves, and put them on the back of my bike and kind of tucked them in a little bit, and not much, because I meant to put them back on. I forgot to put them back on. Started down the highway, got about 500 feet, saw him. he managed not only to see me, but to see my last glove of 2 fly off of my bicycle onto the ground. So he's like freaking out, and I like cross over to go talk to him, and he gets off his bike as I'm crossing over and runs over to the spot I was on and picks up the glove, and he's like, "Ah, the glove." He did. I mean, imagine he said the Chinese word for glove. Plot twist: he's Chinese and doesn't know any English. So he brings it over. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have gloves on my hands." Important, a little bit. Kind of. They're really padded and they help protect the nerves in your arms, and if you fall, super important, because you can't ride very far if your hands have just had the skin scraped off of them. So I thank him, and we managed to have something of a conversation, even though we don't know anything of each other's language. He is a Chinese Olympian. Olympian. From China. He started in Los Angeles. From there, he went to Denver. From Denver, he came to KC. Next on his list is St. Louis. After that is Atlanta. And then Washington, D.C., New York, and Montreal. An Olympian. And then, so he showed me all this on a map and pointed to the cities. And that's how we had this conversation. He gave me a card, which I'm going to get out, because I would butcher his name if I tried to say it without reading it from the card. It was just really cool to meet him. He showed me a map then of Europe, and I don't know if it's a tour he's already completed or what he's going to move on to. But it takes him all across Europe and a good way into Russia, like probably to the border of where Russia is considered Asia. His name was Li Jiawei. Li Jiawei. China, Qingdao Cycling, Polar Bear Plunge. Qingdao New Concept Bike Sporting Club Hotel. I don't know what that means. A new club, apparently. And he had a little pin of the Olympic rings, and it's on his card. Just, yeah, it's pretty cool. And the Chinese flag. He had a little pin on his, like, because a lot of really legitimate cyclists have hats, and I don't have a hat to go under my helmet, which actually helps reduce stripes. I have a new term for this. So, John Green has puff levels. If he gets really stressed out, his hair gets puffy because he does a lot of rubbing his hands to his hair. I have spike height. And here's what spike height is an indicator of. It is an indicator of how long I've been on my bicycle that day, for 2 reasons. One, the longer I'm on the bicycle, the higher it gets. I mean, one time I even had like a good-sized tuft of hair poking through the hole in my helmet, like my helmet was growing hair. And 2, the longer I'm on my bike, the more tired I get, and the less I pay attention to details. Details like reducing spike height before I see people. It still doesn't go away entirely, but I can try. So, high spike height means I've spent a good amount of the day on the bike. Back to the matter at hand. If I can remember what that matter was. Oh yes, Li Jiawei. This guy, anyway, he's pretty cool. And we took some selfies together, and I took a picture of him with his flag, and he took a picture of me with his flag. And I wrote down my name in his little book, and my phone number, and my journey, and showed him on a map. It was significantly less impressive than his journey, but, you know, it was pretty cool. He taught me Chinese for good luck, and I forgot it almost immediately. I'm pretty terrible at that sort of thing. And I said good luck to him, and he understood that part of the English. It was really cool. It's pretty fantastic. Just that I met him, and also that he saw that I dropped my gloves. I went back and found my other glove afterwards, so that was really great. Got both my gloves. It would have really sucked to have to buy a new pair. And that's my day. That's what's happened. I think I answered all the questions about Kansas. I think I've come as far north as I plan to be. Tomorrow I head west. Well, I might need to go north a couple more miles to hit Kansas Highway 36. I think it's the highway. And then I head west. And from there, it's like a straight shot west. Like, the highway is on a parallel. And it just goes straight west. It should take me all the way across Kansas and into Colorado. Probably that'll take me about 2 weeks on a conservative. Conservatively. If I want to be cocky about it, I'd say a week. I don't know. Depends on what Kansas is like when I get into it. If it's really flat and there's not much wind, I'll go fast. If it's really flat and there's a lot of wind and it's going in the wrong direction, I won't go fast at all. If it's not very flat, I'll go like medium or so. Probably a little bit slower than medium. Like on the stove, when you go like low, medium, medium, high. I'll probably be like between medium, low, and low. Or medium, low, and medium. So that's like 3/8 capacity. Also, while I was at the bike shop today getting a new tire, I had the guy look at my gear setup. And I'm like, I think I'm set up for racing. Is that going to be a problem when I hit the mountains? Because I thought it would be a slight problem, but I'd get strong and I'd take it on. He's like, how did you make it this far? You're set up for some pretty competitive racing. You're set up for like a sprint. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That makes me feel like a man, and it makes me feel a little bit better about, being as tired as I have been. So when I get to Denver, I might have to change it out. Definitely have to change it out, but it'll only be like $60 because I'll get like the cheapest one. Because I only need to make it up the mountains with it, with this set of gears that goes on my rear tire. So it shouldn't be bad at all. And that's what's happened in my world. I'm gonna go take a shower. Hopefully the guy who I need to pay for this campsite comes around so I can pay him. I think then I'm going to set up my tent and go to sleep. Maybe I'll meet some people. There's a lot of people. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Oh, and I'll eat dinner. Thanks for the chicken, Aunt Julie. It was delicious. Starting on the potatoes. Alvin out.